So were there any challenges when you first got started?
Hell yeah.
Like, what kind of crazy ass shit is that?
Where you want me to start? Where you want me to start?
You might
From
be
the beginning? Where you
like,
want me to start? Heck yeah. I mean, number one, dang, man. Being an African American entrepreneur is tough. Again, I mean, I don't get to do this often, so I'm going to keep it real. Being a father that owes child support is tough. Because you don't realize if it's owed to the state, it affects a lot of the potential money that you can get through funding if you owe. So there's a lot of untapped money I can't get into simply because I owe child support. And not that I don't love my kids, I do. I love them all. Sometimes systems are systems. So we're working through that. But regardless, so that was another struggle. So financially, just getting started was tough. Because this wasn't my first business adventure, I'd kind of used some of my previous good credit and capital oh shit, for for an initial investment, and that kind of hit me when it was time for me to make my move. So again, capital was hard. Finding capital, getting capital. So I used my own retirement money and threw it at it. That was about what, 7 grand. And that's how we started the arcade. Built a lot of things that were initially in there from hand, which aren't in there anymore. Uh, that took some time. It took a heck of a lot of time. The first person that I got into business with, or I guess helped me with a large portion of this stuff, we didn't see eye to eye, which sometimes you don't learn right away. Initially. So that took a hit because money didn't come in right away, And again, when you're beginning something, when you're at the start of something, it usually doesn't. Like it just usually doesn't. But this particular individual just couldn't. His patience wasn't there with me, so there was a point where all the things that we had built and put into the space, he actually took out and gutted the arcade. Yeah, right. Crazy, right? Like crazy. So what? So I opened up in 2018 because the biggest thing was the financial part. Dang, I could should back up. Let me back up before then, right? Because you got to understand how we even ended up where we're at, right? So I'm looking for a space when I realized I wanted a physical building. I'm looking for a space, and the initial space I wanted was across the street in Mission Valley from NC State. That's originally where I wanted to be. Because I was like, yo, this spot needs to be in a place where there's foot traffic. Like, I'm right across from the college. I can't beat that. Like, I'm across the street from the dorm. Like, this is prime location. So, I've been trying to get in touch with the location, couldn't get anybody. So I realized it was because I was trying to reach out or I didn't have the right individuals reach out. So, got to go through the grapevine. I had the right people, I thought, connect with the people for the property, and they wanted They wanted me to show that I had $20,000 in the bank, or worth of assets, and that the spot over there was going to be like 4,000 to 5,000 a month. Like, ain't no way, ain't no way. So I didn't know if they were trying to price me out. Right? Like, nah, we don't want you over here, whatever the case is, or whatever, because that's real out here in real estate. If you don't know about property real estate or business real estate, they price you out. If they see what you are, what you're into, what you look like, they will try to price you out. So anyway, so that's how I was like, dang, man, this ain't going to work, although I thought that was going to be the prime location. So ran across a friend. Just so happened that he was like, yo, I think I might have a space that that might fit what you're trying to do if you're trying to get something started. So this initial idea that I had to dumb down to a smaller space. It just so happened that things worked out. Started leasing out at the arcade, and then, things started moving from there. But the location I initially wanted and had in my mind and in place was Mission Valley. I tell you, if we were there, I believe we would be soaring with freaking wings if, had our location been different. So all that determines your timing and, being able to adjust, because based on where we were, we had to change and adjust to what I initially had planned on having, because now I'm in a different space, I'm in a different location. Things had to be a little different in the way we were building and structuring the arcade. So now kind of fast forward a little bit. So like I said, we had just started to get things in place. The step team, our step team that steps there every Tuesday and Wednesday, empowering steppers. Man, listen, they're a phenomenal group of steppers. They step all over North Carolina, outside, inside. Phenomenal group of girls. They actually started using my space in 2019, and they've been there ever since. So around that time, that's when this gentleman just kind of like took all the stuff. I mean, he took TVs, he took lights, he took furniture we built. Like, you walk in there, the only thing that was really left was the arcade games. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you want to talk about challenges? So, all right. See, like, how do you bounce back from that, right? How do you bounce back? I just had a good group of people that, saw the energy that I was trying to put in, saw what I was trying to do, and we all just, they chipped in and they helped kind of put some screens back for me. We tried to put some things back as best as we could. But instead of being the lounge that we opened up as, because that's what we were, we had more like lounge chairs, pallet chairs, and furniture and sofas. We had to shift our gears to a more open recreational space idea. So that's kind of how things happened from there. Then, of course, COVID happened. I cannot knock that, because just when we had finally felt like we were finding our footing after all of that, from 2019 to 2020, from March 20, we were booked out solid from March up until about June of 2020. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it. I mean, January, February, I'm like, yo, this year's rocking. Like, yo, we about to be lit. I remember the artwork was being done in the wall. I was in Atlanta in March for my mom's 60th birthday. Lord Fly was in there doing the artwork on the wall. And that's when we got back and they said, everything's getting shut down. Like, what? Like, what? Like, what? Like, finally we reached this point and it's just shut down? Got to readjust again. Now what do you do? No money's coming in. I can't make no money. They're not giving me money because I just opened. Like, I'm not catching any of this money that's out there. Community, my gaming community comes together. I have a group of guys that come every Monday faithfully to play Smash Brothers. They come between 30 and 60 deep every Monday to play Smash Brothers. Talk about dedication. They decided to come together, do a GoFundMe, help keep the arcade alive. That's when I knew during COVID that this was bigger than me. That's why we're still here.